Hello again, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is Back to the Window with Scott and Scott. I am your host, Scott Steehn, lead handicapper at winnersandwhiners.com.
And I'm your co-host, Scott Rochelle, senior handicapper over winnersandwhiners.com.
And together we do this every single day, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Back to the Window. We attempt to guide you on that perilous journey as we all have to hack our way with machetes through the jungle of disappointment, Scott. And we almost had a little disappointment last night, huh? How about you? Grizzlies?
Never in doubt, man.
Never in doubt.
I grabbed a live piece of that in the middle of the, I want to say, fourth quarter. I think I got plus 250.
Good. I wonder what that was when they were down 26. Probably a little better.
I believe it was around, I think it was 10, maybe 15 to 1, 20 to 1, I think.
Solid. Paul Henshaw in the house says, let's go. I agree, Paul. Let's go. Tim Earl, what's up, baby? Tim Earl checking in. Says Memphis money line, never in doubt. Damn right. Never a doubt. Never a doubt. Brandon Kubas, happy Friday. Back at you, buddy. It was plus 3,000, 30 to 1 to you and me. Says,
maybe I saw something else, but
says
I thought
Damien.
it was 18 to 1.
Damien, I hope you got a piece of that, buddy. Hope you got a piece. I did not. I was trying to figure out what my play of the day was going to be since it was going to be my turn. So, there you go. Tate the Great in the house, TGIF, that's right. And for those of you that are fans of Morning Wood, and hey, who isn't, Allie Burns is going to be stopping by here a little bit later. As far as I know, I haven't heard any stories that she's no internet or looking for a cat. So as far as I know, Allie Burns will be here. And, of course, right after that, it's NASCAR. We're going to be joined by the King. Oh, thank you very much. Chris King going to be here, and we're going to talk a little NASCAR, a little Bristol. Scott gets to gloat again by having one of his semi-long shots come in. The guy that hated the track the most, Kyle Busch, ended up winning the race. So, Tate the Great says Allie Burns is the GOAT. So, Allie Burns is certainly very, very good. She's probably the GOAT for our channel, huh, Scott?
Top 5.
Okay, fair enough. Very good. All right, guys. So, because we're going to have Allie on, we're going to kind of grip it and rip it here and get through it. Scott, I think we probably got a couple of things to talk about now, guys. We had a little problem in rehearsal, and I don't know if you're going to be able to hear like the music, if you're going to be able to hear the various sound effects that we have queued up. So we're going to find out. Scott. Let's get right to it, shall we? As we take a look and find out. Thursday night, there was some disappointment around, Scott. There was some excitement. There was some disappointment. Let's find out what camp everybody was in. Who took it in the shorts and who took it to the bank. Who's the winners? Who's the whiners, if you will. We're going to check out the Friday edition of Call the Cops.
Yeah, we didn't hear that. But...
Okay, I know you didn't hear it. But I want to know if everybody else heard it. So put it in the comments section whether you heard the sirens or not. Because if you didn't, I'll stop doing the sound effects for the rest of them. So, anywho, as we wait on answers for that, we're going to start off. Oh, here's a surprising one, Scott. How about the Timberwolves plus 2.5 against the Grizzlies? Call the Cops, indeed. They led by 23 with 1:36 left in the third quarter. They led by 25, by the way, with 3:10 left in the third quarter. Memphis closed the game 46-14, baby. Hoo-wah! Minnesota, not good. Not good, Bob. They end up losing by 9. Not only do they piss away the win, they piss away the cover. You had Timberwolves plus 2.5, Timberwolves money line. Throw them all in the trash. Call the Cops.
Well, according to the comment section, nobody heard the sirens.
Nobody. Well, that's the excuse I always use when the cops come, Scott.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear the sirens. Okay, well then I'll just not do sound effects for the rest of the show. Fine.
Okay. Well, if you had the under in the Flames Stars game at 5.5, you had 2 goals entering the third period. Then you had 4 goals in the third period alone, including that really annoying empty netter with 25 seconds left. The game landed 6.
And finally, turning to the diamond, if you had the Pirates Cubs there over 8.5. Well, they did what you might expect. They put up 7 runs first 5 innings. It was 4-3. And after 4 more innings, it was 4-3. Congratulations 2 shut-down bullpens. Man, you think of good bullpens, you immediately think of the Cubs and Pirates. That was certainly on display yesterday. Call the cops if you had the over 8.5.
Seems like if you bet an over nowadays in baseball, you're just asking to get your ass kicked.
Yep.
That's really what I've noticed.
Yep, you really are. You really are. Well, Scott, there was some good news out there. It was the people that had those nice, easy winners, like, the Timberwolves. If you had the, oh, no, wait, that didn't work out. So these are the people that didn't piss away their lead late, Scott. These are the nice, easy wins. You just spent your Thursday evening not sweating and cussing at the TV like the rest of us. You were just sitting there in the rocking chair.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So if you had the Lightning on the money line against the Maple Leafs, they led 4-0 after the second period, and they won 8-1, a complete no-show for the Maple Leafs.
Complete no-show. If you had the Mavericks plus 8.5, that was a game that you and I both liked, Scott. In fact, that was one of my premiums against the Jazz. Led by 17 at halftime, tried to piss it away in the second half, but couldn't quite do it. They end up winning that one by 8. No Luka, no problem. Mavs up 2-1, baby. If you had them plus 8.5, didn't even need them. Hopefully you had them on the money line.
And the last one, if you had the Twins and Royals under 8.5, you had one run in the second inning. And you had no runs in the other 8 innings. Game ended 1-0.
That was unbelievable, Scott. I'm sitting here with the window open watching that game. The wind is just howling, and it's howling directly out the left field. All of you got to do is get it in the air. Nothing. I had a fairly substantial play on the Royals over there. So I don't know how many games I have to bet over to learn my lesson. We're going to find out what happens tonight because my play of the day, I went the other way. I got the Royals under. So bad Brad on the mound, baby.
We'll see.
Okay. You're not convinced.
I actually was looking into an under in that game as well, or a no-run first inning. Went against it because Keller's numbers in the first inning have not been great historically. So I decided to not take that approach, but I would lean under as well.
All right, very good. All right, let's talk about this. We've got this. Here's the sound effect I'm really looking forward to. You going to do this one?
We can share the responsibility.
Okay, fair enough. Guys, we got to talk about this. We've touched on it briefly. Now we're going to talk about the reason for the season, if you will. Let's find out who it is. It's Friday. Who is the donkey of the day?
Yeah, okay. Good enough. We tried. They don't pay us enough to do this.
No, they don't. I'm no voice guy. I'm no sound effects guy. Come on now. Go ahead, buddy. It's the reincarnation of Flop. Flop Saunders is back.
Yeah, Flop Saunders back in action because the Timberwolves blew the massive lead, and we're going to blame the coach because Timberwolves coach Chris Finch, who signed an extension, by the way, right before the official playoffs started.
Like win at halftime?
Yeah, he ended up, let's just say, allowing a certain run from Memphis to escalate. Because normally, if a team goes on an 8-0 run, a 10-0 run, maybe if a coach is feeling frisky, a 12-0 run.
Better take a TO, baby!
Can I interest you in a 21-0 run before calling a timeout? At some point, when it reaches 10, as a player, you should be calling timeout by default.
Right.
But the coach letting his team allow a 21-0 run is really a next level maneuver that I have not seen before. One of the dumbest games of coaching I've ever seen in the NBA. Finch was disastrous.
It's awful. Just absolutely
21-0?
awful.
What are you doing?
And the thing
Why
is,
are you there?
He watched it happen twice. He watched massive runs. He watched a 14-point run, called no timeouts, and then a 21-point run, called no timeout. I told you this story before, Scott. I was on Millionaire, and I washed out. I didn't use any of my lifelines. And people ask me, like, well, did you use your lifeline? And I always tell them, no, I was saving it for next time. And that's the way I felt about his timeouts last night. You don't put them in the fucking bank. You don't get to use them in the next game. Oh, we're going to have extra timeouts next time. No! What are you doing? What are you saving them for? When things get really... You save them for a rainy day? Hey, look up, dumb shit. It's pouring down rain. Let's go.
The only thing I know...
21 was his cutoff, says James
If
Mount.
the job of the coach is to call timeouts, make adjustments, and call plays, right? You're in the middle of a 21-0 run, so you have not scored Your plays are not working. You're not making any adjustments. So then why are you even there?
What are we doing?
If you're not going to call timeouts, you've gone 0 for 3 on the coaching trifecta. Do something.
By the way, Zodwick with the comment of the day so far. I want to show you this one, Scott. I thought the sound effects were broken. I'm hearing them perfectly.
We're doing our best, man. It's rough out here.
Oh, that's excellent. David the Italian said Barkley hammered him. I didn't watch any post-game breakdown, but
I did. He called Minnesota the dumbest team in the league, and he said the coach was an idiot. Shaq was really blaming the players more than the coach, claiming that the players have to, embrace adversity and respond. I don't know what the hell Shaq was talking about. That's clearly the coach's fault. I know that you can make an argument that Towns, we'll get into Towns in a second because there's a lot to unravel there. A lot of Minnesota's players did nothing. But Shaq also had Phil Jackson and Pat Riley. So his opinions on coaches might not be the most accurate.
Right.
Because he was graced with two of the best coaches in the history of the sport.
Right.
But for most young teams, and Minnesota's one of the youngest teams in the league, it's their first, hurrah in the playoffs. You got to blame the coaching staff. That's just a poor job all around.
Didn't have them ready. I totally agree. Yeah, JR, I was. I know I've told the stories before, probably on some of our football games that were blowouts. I'll tell the millionaire story some other time when we're not pressing for time here with Allie. But yeah, it was fun. I washed out on a stupid question, and so here's my thing, Scott. I saw a milk carton today, and it had Steven Adams' picture on it. So,
I thought you were going to say it had Karl Anthony Towns' picture on it.
No, it's sort of my point, because he played 24 minutes in the first game. You know how many minutes he's played in the last two games combined?
3.
That is correct. He's played three,
and they've won both games.
Minutes total. They've held him below 100, and they've won both games. So, is the switch really all about getting him out of there and having somebody competent that can move and be physical with Towns and keep up with him athletically?
I don't know if you can fire him. You just signed him to a 4-year extension. Like, you just paid him millions of dollars like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
I don't know what you can do. The argument, though, that we got to talk about, or the point we got to talk about, even though the coaching was a serious problem, we got to talk about Karl Anthony Towns. Because he was the number 1 overall pick, very talented player, won the 3-point contest, been an all-star. We know how talented he is. 6 shot attempts? 6?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Was it 6 or 4? I think it was 6.
I thought he had 6. He was 0 for 1 from 3, and I thought he took 5. I thought he took 5 other shots. But when I was looking at the box score this morning,
all I know is no matter what the coach is calling out, no matter what is not working, you have to call for the ball. You have to do something. Like try
to get fouled.
For the ball.
Drive to the hole. Try to get fouled. Do something.
By the way, he had 4 shot attempts.
At 4?
He was 3 for 4. He played 33 minutes. He had 5 fouls, 4 turnovers. He had 5 blocks, which I don't even remember. But he had more fouls than shot attempts.
That's not good.
He's the best player on the team.
Is he?
And then post-game, they ask him a question about, what did Memphis do defensively to give you issues? What happened? And his response was, next question. And then he said, I'm going to go home, decompress, and drink some wine. Really? That's the quote you're going with? You can't accept any of the responsibility publicly? Like, deflecting isn't going to help you in the situation. You kind of need to at least embrace the fact. It's not going to help you because you lost the game, but at least say publicly, I have to play better. My teammates expect more from me. I let them down. It's the common sense beauty pageant answer for I had a crappy game. Here's what I say in the post game. I'm going to drink some wine and decompress. Do you want some Sex in the City on in the background? Like, what are you doing? Like, come on.
J.R. Black
you got to figure it out.
Said he needs a heart.
I mean, he might need one.
I'd stop this.
I need a brain too. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on with Towns, but
I'd stop disappointing Scotties and take a few more shutties if I only had a heart.
Yeah, pretty much. But that was my main takeaway, Super Sly. I agree with you. My main takeaway from the whole situation last night was Jimmy Butler was right. Because Jimmy Butler called Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns soft. It's why he wanted to leave. Now, Wiggins was a homie last night. He ended up hitting the three-pointer in the end to help us out for the 1.5. So we actually played decently in the fourth quarter. But Cat wanted none of that smoke at all.
No.
He was mic'd. He was bragging about being up 20. We're in Minnesota now. And then he proceeded to basically not attempt another shot for the rest of the game. He had one mid-range jumper that he made in the fourth quarter, which I vaguely remember. But he was a complete non-factor. He did absolutely nothing. And Towns, for a guy that tries to talk a lot of smack recently, and for a guy that wants to be known as a serious threat and one of the best centers in the league, he called himself the best shooting big man of all time. It's tough to call you that when you only take 4 shots.
Well, he shot 75%. What do you want? That is good.
Shoot the damn ball, okay? And some of that's Finch's fault, too, for not designing more plays for him. And yes, I know Minnesota was trapping every time he had the ball. You have to at least recognize it and adjust mentally accordingly on your own. Cat was awful. It was embarrassing. If I've roasted LeBron for quitting in that final game against the Celtics about 10 years ago, I have to roast Towns for quitting yesterday. Towns quit.
Yeah, see, I don't even understand because, normally you see it show up in other areas. Maybe they're doubling him down low and he's getting some assists, but he didn't. What did he have for assists last night? He didn't. It was nothing, right?
Towns had 1 assist last.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't understand what he's doing. What do you do? What are you doing? Are they not getting him the ball? That's what I'd like to know. I'd like to know what percentage.
I think the issue Towns run into is that I know a lot of centers nowadays can shoot threes. Embiid had the big shot, whatever, but still, Towns is 7 feet tall. He's about 250 pounds.
Right.
Get your ass in the paint. Like, if you're not going to actually exploit defenses at the 3-point line, because clearly you were afraid to shoot jump shots the entire night,
right?
Maybe you should go inside the paint, maybe get to the foul line. Do something. But you can't keep standing at the 3-point line the entire game, which has not worked, and expect it to suddenly work in the fourth quarter. He should have gotten down low and tried to at least get to the basket or position himself in a spot where it would have been more difficult for them to trap.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. Is he's afraid to go up against Tillman and Clark in those guys? I mean, is that what we're doing here? I think
Towns is just the guy that likes to get downhill. He doesn't like to actually position himself in a triple threat post up spot, which is a problem because he's 7 feet tall, he's 250 pounds, and he tries to play like he's Kevin Durant.
Summer Sweat sums it up right there. 50 to 14 run to end the game, and your best player's talking wine. That's exactly right. Yep, that to me seems to be a problem. Is there any way they turn it around?
In my opinion, no.
Is that one of those victories? We've talked about this before, where you get one of those victories or losses in this case that just doom you, that just stay in your head. You can't get rid of it. You can't, no matter how much wine you drink or how much sleep you get or how much you decompress. It doesn't go away, and I have a feeling, and we'll see on Saturday, but I have a feeling that could be one of those games.
I think it's over.
I
don't know how you come back from that.
I tend to agree.
You had your chance, you blew it, and with Adams not playing, Memphis has shown a ton of really just scoring depth, and I mentioned that going into Game 3. Brandon Clark was fantastic off the bench. He had 20 points.
Right.
So he was really a piece off the bench that helped. And I said the reason why I don't like Minnesota in the series and in Game 3 was the fact that besides Towns, besides Edwards, and besides Russell, this team has absolutely no bench support when it comes to scoring. And that's really all they got. Now, Vanderbilt was actually pretty good yesterday. He had a double-double. And Beverly actually had a decent amount of points. But Towns, Edwards, and Russell stopped making shots, and nobody else could do anything. The Grizzlies were able to overcome a terrible game by Morant because they have a ton of depth. And I think the depth differential is the reason why Memphis should win this series 4-1.
Yep, I agree. Tim Earl says Memphis 4-1. I agree as well. I think this is one of those season-ending losses that they took last night.
I do want to ask you a question, though.
Sure.
Which team is more screwed, Minnesota or Utah?
Minnesota. I mean, okay. Utah's in a world of hurt too when they're down 2-1 without Luka in the lineup. they're going to have some massive problems. And Luka's questionable, so it looks like they're getting close to getting him back. And I know
think Luka could have potentially played in this past game if Dallas was down 2-0, but they didn't need him.
Right.
So
right, and that's the thing. Will they bring him out here up 2-1 and going home? You know, I mean, they're going home after this game regardless. So
yeah, for the record, Tim, I'm picking both Utah and Minnesota to lose. I'm just asking which team do you think has a better chance at a comeback?
Right. I think Utah has a better chance at a comeback. I think they could sneak one out and pick up a win in Game 4, and then they've still got a 2-1 advantage on home court. So I think they're in trouble because now you're talking about Luka coming back, and I know the point you're trying to make is they're down 2-1, and now you've got the specter of Luka hanging over everything where he could be ready to return. So
yeah, I personally agree with you. I think Utah's got a better chance to come back in their series because even though both teams have been known to choke a bunch of games throughout the entire season, at least Utah's experienced. They've been in the playoffs before. There's some adjustments they could make, mostly trying to go smaller and to stop playing Gobert. So they can at least try some wrinkles that might help. I have no idea what Minnesota can do.
Yeah, they're not going to.
What can you do? Towns mentally quit on the game.
Yeah, they're not.
No bench.
They're not going to put him on the bench. You know, he's got to be out there and he's got to be engaged. Now maybe he rallies. Maybe he listens to social media and listens to talking heads and yap about him, and maybe he goes out with a chip on his shoulder and proves everybody wrong, puts up 40. We'll see.
I'm just saying.
It doesn't feel like it.
Do I think Minnesota and Utah are going to win one more playoff game combined? No. I think they're both going to lose 4-1. But if you're asking me what team do I think has even a glimmer of hope, maybe Utah, because at least you can make some adjustments. Minnesota can do nothing.
Right.
I don't know what you're supposed to do. You're just inexperienced and your team's poorly coached.
Yep. They're a year ahead of schedule. They're, further along than they thought they'd be. And you kind of get the feeling they're playing with house money.
Yeah.
So.
CJR, you're right. Utah could be thinking, here we go again. And that's true, because I'm not picking them to win the series either. But they've been in a couple of wars before. So Mitchell can maybe flip it to a gear. They had a decent run there with Gobert off the court. Maybe they can, win another game or something. But mentally, I'm assuming Minnesota's fried.
What just happened? Memphis over Golden State? Hard to imagine. Going to be a great series.
I would personally take Golden State. Truth is, I really have not been impressed by Memphis in this series at all. I get they're up 2-1. I get they responded really well to adversity in Game 3. Did they play well, or did Minnesota just hand them the game on a platter? Because Morant had one of the least impressive triple-doubles I've ever seen.
Yep, I agree. But, as long as you're able to get Bane involved like that, and Bane can pick up the slack. See, that's the advantage. We talked about this team's record without Ja, and we talked about their ability to play. And I think it meant more to Bane than anybody else as far as confidence goes and finding his ability, his voice, if you will, to be able to be a leader and put the team on his shoulders. So I think that's done nothing but serve them well as Morant has struggled. So
yeah,
I'm impressed with this team playing defense.
I like this Memphis team, but if you're asking me if I think that they can reach the creme de la creme, I don't think they can. I think they're a year away. The real problem I have with this team, if I'm going to name one guy, is Dillon Brooks. I'm just really, really anti-Dillon Brooks. He takes so many awful shots. I saw a tweet, which I thought was really funny. Somebody said that Dillon Brooks is like Kobe if Kobe didn't know how to play basketball. And I thought that was one of the funniest things I've ever read. But I'm really an anti-Dillon Brooks guy because he takes so many heat check shots that are so ill-advised. I would compare him to Will Barton. He thinks he's so much better than he is that he takes so many shots late in games that absolutely destroy you. I know he made the big three-pointer over Towns to ice it, but Brooks has got to take a step back here.
It was funny to watch Barton last night. He just kept getting more incredulous that he couldn't believe that the way things were going.
Jokic had Klay Thompson matched up on him in the post, and he took a 35-footer over Draymond Green.
I don't know what we're doing here, bud.
Hilarious stuff. But the point is, if you want to ask me what I think the weakest link is for Memphis, I think it's Dylan Brooks. I think they need another wing scorer who is able to recognize his role a little bit more clearly.
David Good brings up a good point. Did you see Minnesota players leaving the floor? They were beaten.
Yeah, they're dead to rights.
Not good. Not good body language at all.
Is it supposed to help that your veteran leadership is Patrick Beverley, who's responsible for one of the worst 3-1 choke jobs in the history of the NBA?
It's not ideal.
I can't say responsible, but he was there. So he's seen these choke jobs before. I don't exactly trust him to rally the troops.
No, I agree. Joker for MVP. Buy the T-shirts now. Use them for washing cars in Denver.
I think Jokic was the MVP. Am I supposed to roast him for going for like 35 and 18 last? What the hell do you want him to do?
Well,
Will Barton's taking 35-foot shots when he's got Klay Thompson in the post.
And here's the thing: do you give the MVP to the guy that drug a sub-mediocre or mediocre team to the playoffs? I mean, that's or do you lay it at his feet that they weren't more successful? I mean, that's
the fact that Denver avoided the play-in game,
right?
With no Murray, no Porter, and their second best player is arguably Aaron Gordon. I was 100% on the Jokic MVP bandwagon. What he pulled off to get them to a 6 is a miracle because this team stinks.
I agree. It's not a good team.
That's why I took Golden State yesterday. Jokic can have his 35. Nobody else can do anything on the team.
You have to be any kind of a complete player anymore to get an MVP?
I don't know, because nowadays you live in a highlight era where everything's on Instagram. You see a bunch of, tweets about poster dunks and stat lines and whatever. A lot of the actual context of what players do, the nuances, are kind of lost in the shuffle.
Magellan Sports says Embiid MVP. I'll tell you what, if you ask me,
second place for me.
If you ask me which player I'd rather have to start my team with, it's not even close. I take Embiid.
I think a lot of it would depend on how good my supporting cast is.
Well, I'm just saying that's your first pick.
Okay.
You take Jokic? You take Jokic?
I think Embiid is more dominant when he's on the court.
Well, he's also a two-way player.
Yeah, the issue that you have when you're starting a roster is that Embiid's always hurt. So if you want to do roster construction, I'd probably take Jokic because he's healthy.
Okay.
But if you're assuming perfect health, I would rather have Embiid because defensively, he's at least a rim presence.
Right.
Jokic I think gives you no rim protection whatsoever.
I think for this exercise, you have to kind of assume at equal health. Yeah.
Assuming equal health, I will take Embiid if I was building a roster. But based on what I saw this year, I have Jokic winning the MVP.
But Jones says Embiid is the best big man in the last decade.
You can be very right about that.
I'm trying to think. I give credit for being a complete player for playing.
It's him versus Jokic.
That's
who's the last dominant big man before them? Dwight Howard.
Yeah, not for very long, but yeah, I would say that'd probably be right.
I'd rather have Embiid than Dwight Howard.
Yeah, peak Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
Okay.
I still love peak Dwight Howard. Don't get me wrong, but the free throw shooting and the lack of any offensive post game whatsoever is a problem.
Yeah. The Joker's a tough guy. Not afraid.
I'm a big Jokic guy, but you can really make it. The thing is, it's one of those MVP races where there was no clear-cut guy. No. It's not the Man of the Year award where Hero is going to win by 98% of the vote. It was very close. I said Giannis had no shot to win it. It was a two-horse race the entire season. I think the acquisition of Harden killed Embiid's chances. In the eyes of the public, had to carry less of the load. And Jokic had to do everything for that team.
I disagree. I think the public...
Solely based on public perception, not based on reality.
Okay. Agree to disagree. Agree to say you're wrong. So, hey, we talked about her. She's here. She's been called by some the GOAT. The GOAT, Scott. We've got the GOAT right here in our presence. You know her. You love her. She gives you morning wood every day. It's the one, the only.
I do.
It's Allie Burns. What's up, Allie?
How's it going, guys? Good to see you again.
Always fun. It's Friday, etc., etc. TGIF to you. How'd your yesterday go? Were you on the right side of that Memphis game?
I got Memphis plus 800 and Memphis plus 13.5 points. So I smiled all the way to the window, all the way back to the window.
There you go. There you go. Outstanding. Outstanding.
That was a good one.
I know Scott had a couple nice hits on that game as well. So yeah, very good. It was exciting watching him come back twice from 20 points down, huh?
It really was. In the freaking Warriors game, I got lucky on that. I was like taking a bath and I just walked into my living room and it was on TV and the Warriors were down. And I was like, oh, this has to be plus money. And it was. So I jammed on it at plus 120, plus 2.5 points. And then, the game progressed and I got on the Nuggets at plus 340. Didn't work out, but I hedged my other side and I didn't take the points. So I didn't try to middle that.
Excellent.
Usually that would.
Allie, we were just talking about whether you'd rather have Embiid or Joker, and David Good said he said I'd take Adams as my first pick to show players it doesn't always take the talent to cover the under on rebounds.
I'm not the biggest Adams person.
I don't think anybody is anymore.
No.
The truth is, I was a big Adams guy back in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
The league has outgrown him. It reminds me a lot of what happened with Roy Hibbert. Hibbert was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. He was good in Indiana. And then 2 years later, he couldn't play him. He was out of the league. Because as the league got more stretched out to the three-point line, if you're a big man who can't shoot, and you're also big so you can't cover in the perimeter, you're practically useless. And unfortunately, that's what Adams finds himself in.
Yep, absolutely right.
I don't know if I could pick between the two. I really like Embiid and I really like the Joker. It's just kind of, they're two of the guys I like Embiid more, I think. I'm going to say I like Embiid more.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You have to throw the injury considerations in there because if Embiid's going to miss 15 to 20 games a year, that kind of has to factor in. But assuming perfect health, I think I'd rather have the guy that plays two ways. I'd rather have the guy that,
when healthy, I would take Embiid, but I think the one thing I'm really impressed by with Jokic is that nobody knows anything about him, like personally.
He's got brothers.
You know anything about Jokic?
He's got brothers.
I know he has like some
secret.
Doesn't he have some like ghosts or something back in Serbia? But like nobody knows anything about his personal life. He has brothers who hate the Morris brothers.
Would you say he had goats?
Yeah, he has some type of like animal pets like back in Serbia or something. But the only thing I know about Jokic are his brothers who threatened to assault the Morris brothers. I don't know anything about his personal life. Like Embiid's on Twitter. He's making jokes. He posts the photo about Ben Simmons' downfall. Like, he's a funny guy. Nobody knows anything about Jokic.
No.
How much English does Jokic speak?
That's a great question. I have no idea. The only time I've ever heard him do interviews
because maybe that's why we don't ever hear from him, because he's like, I throw a ball into a hoop and make baskets,
The only thing that I know about Jokic is when he does the post-game things on TNT with Shaq, and Shaq tries to speak Serbian or like to him, and he butchers every word, and Jokic just laughs at him. That's it. That's the only thing I know about him.
Magellan Sports says he's into Serbian mafia.
Favorite moments in basketball last night was Charles Barkley talking crap about the Timberwolves after the game.
He was 100% right.
Oh, I did too. He's like, that's just dumb. You don't make dumb kids. You just make dumb parents. This was bad coaching. It was stupid. I mean, tell me how you really feel, Charles. I'm just cracking up as I'm listening to his breakdown on this. It's not like, well, they could have done this. No, it was stupid. That was stupid. What happened? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Tell us how you really feel, Allie.
Yeah. Well,
I loved it. We both made money on Memphis, so we had a great time.
Yeah, it was our farm play. We thought we were plowing under the crops in the second half there. We thought. If
I'm going to be honest, I took a shower. I missed the entire run.
What is it? What is it with you people bathing in the middle of the evening?
I got plus 250, right? Like earlier in the game, whatever. When they made the initial run, right before half, and then I see they're down 20 again. I'm like, all right, I got a huge play on the Warriors. I'm gonna take a shower. Like whatever. I'll get ready for the 10 o'clock game. I come back and Memphis is down 2. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Like I come back and it's like, they're in the middle of like a 20-1, like in the middle of a 19-0 run, and I'm just like, oh, okay. So I wasn't sure if I should watch the game or get back in the shower because of superstition.
I do that too.
So I was trying to figure out what to do. I ended up going back and I watched the game.
I got out of my lucky shower.
I do the same thing.
Taking a bath.
Like, oh my God, that happened while I was in the kitchen. I need to remain in the kitchen. Clearly.
Are you so you're a bath, not a shower personality, or was that a special occasion?
I shower in the morning and I take a bath every night. Because
Okay.
it's where I read my books. Like I read books and stuff, and that's the only time I can like sit and focus. So I do like 2 chapters. That's how I roll.
You
2
lost me
chapters.
at reading, but I'm rooting for you.
You don't
I love
read?
reading.
I
Reading's
haven't
like
read a book since probably like I don't even think I read a book in college. I
What?
think
how'd
I
you get
probably
through college.
I'd say probably 11th grade, 12th grade. Last time I
Jesus
read a book cover to
Christ.
cover.
Oh my god, I collect books. I have like ceiling to floor. I have 3 columns of books in my dining room. I have a
I was a
ton.
huge
love
Spark
books.
Notes guy. I found the summaries online and I just read those.
Oh, like Cliff's Notes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. There it is. That's the
Zodwick, I agree. I'm not superstitious. I'm a little bit stitious. I agree.
I love that.
I
I,
agree.
love that, Zodwick.
slightly stitious.
Yeah, I'm just a little stitious.
just
I'm
a-
not superstitious. Don't get crazy.
I
Oh,
haven't
that's
I haven't
funny.
read a book since YouTube launched. You definitely get back.
You guys should pick up books and read them. There's a book I just got that's really cool. Hold on, it's right here in my.
Is it next to your ping pong paddle?
No.
The only book that you know takes
You guys
bets.
have to know this about me. I've been doing my own shows a long time, and if I feel like standing up and walking away, I'm gonna do it. I've been doing it forever. But this is
She's a pro, everybody. Allie
Popular
Burns.
Delusions. Extraordinary Popular Delusions and the Madness of Crowds. So I read books like this to think about like public betting. You know, it's like ideas on how the public thinks and how crowds or like
So it's like mob ideology, basically.
yeah, like collective consciousness influencing things, but I associate it with sports betting, you know. So I read a lot of things like that.
I think I stopped reading before the Kindle became a thing. That's how far back I go.
Super slice
I read
sums
Les
it up.
Miserables on the Kindle, and it took me most of my life. My Kindle wore out before I finished Les Miserables.
I saw the movie. Hugh Jackman, not bad.
I didn't see the movie because I read the book. Actually, I've seen the play several times.
Rochelle was a tennis player. You've never read The Inner Game?
No, I have not.
Really? Not ever
No, I
once.
have not.
No, anybody that competes in any sport has to read The Inner Game.
Well, I
Okay.
haven't done that.
It's a good thing I haven't competed in sports because I haven't read it.
Okay, you play tennis though, right? It's written about tennis.
I dabble in tennis.
Reading is overrated. Tell me you're under 30 without telling me you're under 30.
Right?
Who has
No
the
kidding.
time
Do you
nowadays,
read,
you know?
Steehn? Do you
Of
read?
course I read. Now I
Right.
have mostly made the transition to like my Kindle. I've got it on my phone and stuff, and I'm about half and half. Real books versus reading books on my
I
phone.
read the show sheet every day on here. Does that count?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. Well, yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Somebody's got to read the Call the Cops segment, you know? Like that's my reading comprehension for the day.
Okay.
So there's that.
All right. So you just lost the table tennis?
James Mounts is right behind me in the handicap baton. I went 1-1 today. I went 1-1 yesterday too. So if he goes 2-0, he can tie me today. He can catch me.
Okay. Very good. I didn't know if that's
This
it. I didn't.
stupid contest is controlling my life right now.
Why is that?
I don't know, because I'm in it, because I'm super competitive, and this is why I never wanted to do it. I increased my limit on it, which is probably why I'm
Didn't
losing,
we
because
discuss
I
best
increased
case
my
and
betting limit.
the best case scenario? You win and you keep somebody from winning a prize.
No, we're just rolling it down now, because that doesn't make sense.
No, no.
You got
By
to
the way,
roll it down.
what just happened in school? I was a big Quizlet guy. Quizlet saved my ass when it came to a lot of the
What?
studying. Basically, it's a shared index card, like a virtual index card creator. So people would just make like key index card notes on a bunch of topics,
Okay.
and you just find them online. So I would just memorize the index cards that people created instead of reading any of the material. It was great.
What was the hardest class?
Fantastic stuff.
What was the hardest class you had in college, Rochelle?
The hardest class I had, I would say it was probably, it was either chem, it was either intro to chem, or it was one of the journalism classes. Not because it was difficult, but because I had a 3-hour lab at 7 a.m. every Friday,
Okay.
which was absolutely just disastrous because I was hungover pretty much the entire time on
Sure.
Friday.
Sure.
So I had to deal with that. So based on timing, journalism class. Based on content, probably chemistry.
Okay. Yeah.
Bio was tough for me. I didn't take chem, but bio was those science classes in college. I heard like you learn more new words in your first year of bio than you do in your first year of French. Like it was that many different words. Psych was a good one though.
By the way,
Psych was
Renzo, I didn't cheat in college. I counted cards through college.
Did you?
It's
Did
frowned
you-
upon, but it's not illegal.
I was going to say you never read Knockout because you don't read books, but Blackjack, that Knockout book is a great book to read if you guys are into learning how to count cards. Read Blackout or Knockout.
It's Knockout.
Blackout.
James, listen, Thirsty
Knockout,
Thursday is
yeah.
a real thing in college. If you have a lab at Friday at 7 a.m.,
Yeah.
half the class is hungover.
We
I'm
can
not alone on that.
We can start today early in college. No question about it.
Yeah.
Allie, what do you like tonight? Give me a couple of
got,
give me a couple of baseball picks. What do you got?
I got a lot of action today. I got the White Sox first 5 and full game. I got the Reds first 5. I like the Reds full game, but I took the Cardinals full game and then like rethought it, and now I don't love the Cardinals full game, but I do like the Reds first 5. Knockouts spelled like that.
What do you see? What are you seeing in the Reds that you like? Because this team has been
the pitcher.
Fan of Hunter Green.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Hunter Green. It is called here. Wait, I'm pulling it up right now so you can see. Yeah, I like Hunter Green. I also like that Higgs really liked that pick. He was my guest on Morning Wood this morning. And then I've got some Nerfies I'm dealing with too. I think I have 4 Nerfies going on. The Cubs, the Twins.
Well,
I took the Orioles game over.
Would you take the Nerfie in, Scott? Don't you have a Nerfie?
Yes, I have a Nerfie in the Mets Diamondbacks game.
I did not take that Nerfie, but I could.
Ellie, are you talking
right now?
It just occurred to me. Are you talking about the Knockout Blackjack, the Kin Fuchs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Counting cards book.
Yeah, it's all right. If you want a good jumping off point to count cards, it's not a bad one. It's I don't know, probably not. I don't know that they've kept up with the countermeasures enough yet. I'd like to see an update because I know a couple of the things that they do. They've kind of had come up with some countermeasures for. So you count cards in the casino, Allie?
Ish. I'm not. I know how to do it, but I've never put it into practice because the guy who taught me how to do it is 86 from El Cortez here in Vegas, which is the best blackjack game in the city. But they know him and they know he's a card counter, so. I was never able to play there, and then pretty much everywhere else you're getting more decks, and so I'm not a huge blackjack person, but during the pandemic with nothing to do, I kind of started to learn how to count cards, and I read that book. I'm just not super interested in it. I don't like math, and if I'm sitting at a blackjack table, I'm typically not really there to make money. I'm there to like get the free drinks and party with whatever bachelorette party I have in town that weekend that has decided they want to play blackjack for 20 minutes. So
That's
it's just
why I
not.
play Pygo.
Yeah, or 3-card poker. I used to love me some 3-card.
Pygo is my signature. Let's not lose a lot of money, not win a lot of money, but we'll make a fortune off the free drinks.
We used to play.
3-card poker all the way. 3-card is like a peak game. Like as soon as you really feel good about yourself in 3-card poker, walk the flip away because you're about to give it all right back. Just go to the next table, get free drinks over there. It's cool.
Yeah, we used to go down to Binion's, play dollar blackjack. And and order cigarettes and drinks. They bring you cigarettes, so you get a whole pack of smokes.
Yeah,
I remember Westgate at $5 pie got with 3 a.m. one night, and I went there for a couple hours.
Nice.
I don't love the Westgate. I really don't love the Westgate.
It was $5 pie got.
I mean, you can find that other places
in this economy. $5 pie got. Come on.
Hey, I'm gonna.
Ellis Island used to do laid back blackjack, but it was $1 a hand also at Ellis Island, and I loved that.
I want to put a little culture up here real quick. David Good said, Carl Sandburg, the great poet, said college is a 4-year refuge from hasty judgment.
I can guarantee you I didn't read that poem.
You didn't?
Was it Sandburg? No, maybe not. I was thinking he was in the beat era.
He wrote the Bible. He wrote Playing Blackjack as a Business. That was Carl Sandburg. I'm sorry, that's Lawrence Revere. My bad.
I don't know what's happening. Are you talking to yourself?
Yeah, basically. Some of them are just for me, kids.
Won the Pulitzer for history and poetry.
Carl Sandburg?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the shit. Scott, you didn't take an English class in college?
No, I know the name, but I can't get him in my head right now. I
think I did take an English class, but it was more like Shakespearean based. I only took that class because all the books were on SparkNotes, so I knew I wasn't going to read any of the books. But I took an English class that I believe was only about Shakespeare, just because I knew I was going to find all the information online.
All right.
So I planned accordingly.
Okay. Allie, you got to play on the Royals game tonight? Royals, Seattle.
Royals, I have it going under.
Got it under?
Or no, Royals, I have no run first inning.
Yeah, is that what you have, Rochelle?
I thought about taking that. I ended up going with the Mets and no run first inning instead.
All right.
But I don't mind that either.
4.
All right, very good.
Yeah.
All right, Allie, between Minnesota and Utah, are either one of them going to win another game?
I think Utah will win another game. I mean, Minnesota, that was hard, but I don't want to be like a only remember the last thing I saw kind of a person. However, it's kind of hard to forget what I saw last night out of that T-Wolves team. So I'm going to have to really get pretty, sloshed to just totally be able to forget that. So,
Okay.
I don't know. Utah, I think, will win again. I don't know about the T-Wolves.
Okay.
I was on the same boat as you. I leaned Utah. I don't think either team's going to win another game, but Utah has experience. Maybe they can piece together some type of thing. Minnesota, I just think, is cooked.
Yeah, that was your spot, Minnesota. Like your first game back and you're in front of your home crowd and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, the Grizzlies lost, that first one or was it the second one at home? So they're trying to grab one back on their way.
They lost the first one, but they played Adams a bunch of minutes. As soon as they took him out, they've kind of dominated the series.
Right.
On the scoreboard, at least.
So, I expected Grizzlies to want to get one back on the road. I saw that coming-ish. Not saw that coming, but I saw that coming-ish. And
you saw the result coming, not the actual process of it happening.
Yeah, not what actually just went down for real.
Somebody asking about Brooklyn tomorrow, laying 3 at home against Boston. Scott,
I just think Boston's the better team. I just really do.
Yeah.
I'm believing.
Scott, I know you're a Nets guy. Is this the game you're going to? No, you're going to game 4.
I'm going to game 4. So if they lose this game, I'm going to get blackout drunk before game 4 because I don't want to watch my team get swept in Ben Simmons' first game of about a year and a half. But I'm going to wait for the referee report. Because if I see Scott Foster, if I see Tony Brothers in there, maybe you might get a couple of calls going Brooklyn's way to extend the series. We'll see. Hint, hint. I'm going to wait and see what the referee report is. Also, if Robert Williams is going to play or not.
I'm just going to in-play it. I don't need to get involved beforehand.
What do you think, Scott? I don't know if you believe in those series prolonging refs, but suddenly if Scott Foster or Tony Brothers gets the game, maybe
I can't fight the numbers, man. If the numbers say it, then I believe it. It doesn't.
I umpired baseball for a season or 2, and the umpires that we all meet before the game and have our pregame talk before we go out. And the first thing we'd always say is, "Who are you on today?" And they're a huge way that they would handicap baseball games is the umpire behind the plate, what their strike zone looks like. That was a big thing that they would look at. So I'm all for handicapping your umps and your refs if that's your thing. I feel like it definitely meant. Yeah, KD's due for a good one, but I don't bet on due. That's not what I bet on.
Scott Foster's the ultimate shenanigans ref nowadays because Joey Crawford retired a decade and a half ago. But a part of me does wonder if the NBA might try to stretch the series out a little bit because it's clearly the most viewed series by a large margin. I don't think it's close.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably, without going through it real quick, I would think it's the 2 biggest media markets.
I have to assume so.
I would think it's 1 and 2 probably, right?
They call an audible. They call up Scott Foster on the bat phone and tell him to do game 3. Wouldn't surprise me.
The rep phone. It has been some really good basketball, though. I'll definitely say that. I have enjoyed watching the games thus far. So the Bulls won it more. Well, they might not. They might not have a choice.
Yeah, I haven't been impressed by anything the Bulls have done yet.
I think if you Milwaukee tonight,
you can wish in one hand and poop in the other, and see which one fills up first.
Let me ask you guys about that. Without Middleton, does that matter to you?
I really don't know because Milwaukee's had to play with Middleton earlier this season because he, of course, had some COVID issues. He wasn't able to play for the first couple months. That was a while ago, but they have played without him this season. He's had injury issues in the past. I think if I was going to take Milwaukee, I would just parlay it with Giannis 30-plus points. Because if Milwaukee's going to win, I mean, Giannis's player props 34.5. Come on. I mean, if they're going to win, Giannis is going for 35.
Yep.
So I would probably take that approach. Make it an extra value by parlaying it with Giannis points because he's going to have to embrace an even bigger role if they're going to win this game.
Allie, what do you think? No Middleton, no problem?
Are the Bucks up 2-0, right?
It's 1-1.
It is 1-1. Okay, never mind then. I agree with that. I mean, he's the guy, he's the guy. And I think it's like he said, the Bulls want it more. I think the Bucks want it more. I really do. And I think Giannis is part of who really wants it more. So
they got a taste, man. They got a taste.
Mm-hmm.
They've got one. They got the fever. So
heavy's the head that wears the crown, though. I get that, but I don't think it's the Bulls that are going to do them in. They're going to the next round.
Yeah, I agree. Now, whether they go beyond that is going to be the question there. So, all right,
Holiday to play a little bit better.
Yeah, that's true too. All right, Allie, any final thoughts? Where can we find you, et cetera, et cetera?
Find me Monday through Friday on Morning Wood right here on the Max Wagers Network. I've had special guests on all week. I'm going to do it all next week too. Thank you guys for joining us on Wednesday. That was a lot of fun.
Of course.
Yeah, I had Ross Benjamin Thursday, Sean Higgs today. So every day on Morning Wood, we've got free contests and we've got special guests that are going to help educate you guys on sports betting. You can ask them questions and all that jazz. Check out Total Chaos also. If you just YouTube Total Chaos picks and parlays. I think all three of you tied. The winners and whiners guys all went 2 and 3 on the last Total Chaos, I believe.
Okay.
Right.
Sounds suspiciously like us.
Yeah.
I could bet on that. So yeah. How bad is Budweiser? What are you talking about? I wear a hat, not a visor. I drink Budweiser. There's your Beastie Boys. But yeah, Monday through Friday, Morning Wood at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's where you can find me.
There she goes, everybody. It's Allie Burns closing on the Beastie Boys. We'll see you. We'll see you Tuesday. We'll see you Friday.
Yes. Good luck today, guys.
All right, you too. Thanks for being here.
Bye.
All right, buddy. There you go. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool chick, as they say. I like her.
Yep. Fun times.
All right, my friend. Well, there's only one thing left to do, and it's going to be a little anticlimactic since we don't have any. We don't have sound effects or anything queued up, but we can talk about what we did yesterday. So anyway, Scott, it is time once again. It's Friday. It's the last one of the week. Look around. You find it? You see it?
It's all the way up there, so I'm going to need another second to get ready.
All right. Well, it's it's America's fastest growing segment. Everybody, get ready. It's time once again. I'm making you wait.
Yeah, it's all good.
I'm just still fucking with you. All right, there it is, guys. It is time once again to bet the farm. Meh. All right, very good. I didn't hear you chiming in to help me with the moves, Scott.
Moo.
So, all right, very good.
There you go.
Hey, Scott, I know we had a bet the farm yesterday. How'd we do?
We had the Grizzlies to cover, and never in doubt, they covered.
Never in doubt. Cue the banjos. Yeehaw. Now, could you not hear that?
No.
Okay. Well, I don't know if they heard the banjos or not either. Anyway.
Yeah, they didn't hear anything. I did my best.
Yeehaw. All right, so I know we got.
At least the cows aren't drinking today.
I know we have one cooked up for today. It's the weekend. Everybody's working for the weekend. We're working for money. Scott, what do we got today?
So for this one, we're going to go to a pretty interesting game in baseball. We're going to be taking a reverse run line for the first time this season. We're going to take the Guardians plus 1.5 runs at around minus 115 as they take on my Yankees. And Cleveland offensively has been really good this season. The Guardians are averaging 5.67 runs per game, which is numero uno in the league, while New York is averaging just 3 runs per game, which ranks tied for 25th. On top of that, the Yankees have scored less than 6 runs in 9-inning games. They had the 1 extra inning game in the season opener in all 13 games this season. So the Yankees are really not good offensively at all. They're consistently awful. The Guardians are also 4-0 straight up in their last 4 road games, and the Yankees are 1-4 in their last 5 games as a favorite. At the end of the day, the Yankees should not be laying 1.5 runs at home since they cannot score. You might get an extra at bat, of course, as the road team, and you might end up having 9 at bats compared to 8 if the Yankees are only up 1. But for a Yankees team that can hit, they should not be laying 1.5 at home. Give us the value at plus 1.5.
There you go. Same concept as in other sports. Low scoring games, take the points, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Or in this case, the runs, as we're taking 1.5 against the Yankees. That's going to do it for the farm. That's going to do it for the show. Another one in the can for the week. We want to thank you guys, as always, for joining us. Again, one more thanks to Allie Burns for stopping by here and kind of lightening up the joint. Don't forget to check out the great deals that we have with DraftKings. $5 for any money line on any baseball game. You get a $200 free bet or $200 credit towards your next $200 worth of bets. And we have the bet insurance over there at Caesars. Up to $1,100, your first bet is on the house, if you will. Check out all the details in the show description along with the links. So you guys have a great day. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to stay tuned here in just a few minutes. We'll be right back at you doing our NASCAR show, Left Turn Radio, with these two guys and Chris King. But until then, you guys take care. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to stop back by and see us each and every weekday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. Scott and I do our very best to help you in the never-ending journey to head back to the window. Take care, everybody. We'll see you then.